What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Production Playbook. Today we're talking about how me and Nathan made a spec ad for Puma with just the two of us in 2 days. So check it out.
Motivation. Imagine a world where we push a little harder, reach a little higher. Imagine feeling more alive, more capable, more you. What's your motivation?
So yeah, it was a crazy experience. It was a cool project. It was just the two of us. So there was a lot of times where we were struggling because I was working the camera and Nathan was acting. And there was a lot of times I wished we had an extra set of hands. Nathan, what'd you think of the whole process, man? What was that like for you?
It was good. It was good. I think we wanted to do something to, pump up our reel a little bit and make something a little more brand. We're both big fans of Puma, and I think we wanted to challenge ourselves. Say, I think I can direct and act. You can DP, gaff, and I'm like, let's come up with the script together. And we worked. I felt like for this one here, we felt it was probably interesting to work backwards. So we had an idea in mind script wise, but we said, you know what? These are our shots we want. We want to shoot this segment, this soccer, this beach. And then it's like, once we put it together, we kind of went in reverse. Then we was like, okay, here's our flow. Here's what it's saying visually. Now let's kind of put together some voiceover and script. And, sometimes when you try to direct yourself, it's not always the most ideal situation. I'm my harshest critic, but it was, when we were talking about the ad, I said it was kind of funny because we were saying, okay, well, what kind of ad do we want to do? And we're like, a lot of these ads, they showcase a lot of younger people. And it's weird for me to say. I am in my 40s now, but it just feature, younger people. The coaches obviously are a little older, but we thought, why not do something that can showcase a middle-aged person, right? Early 40s, mid 40s, and what's the story behind that? And I was like, perfect example is like kind of art imitating life. We talked about this. I had a bad injury in pickleball. I literally severed my calf muscle and I could not walk for 3 months. I could not put any pressure on my right calf for probably almost like to make any type of walking for about 4 months. I couldn't even walk for 4 months, and then maybe 5 or by the 5th or 6th month, I could actually put some pressure on it is what I'm trying to say. But I did not do anything athletically for about a year. So I think the theme of what we were trying to do is like a middle-aged person trying to get back to what maybe they are an athlete or maybe they just used to work out, but they're finding their way back, the journey back. And I think it was very similar to my life because when that injury happened, it was hard for me to stay focused. I just didn't want to do upper body, and it was hard for me to get in the gym. So that kind of played perfect to our theme of what we were trying to accomplish with with our Puma spec ad is hey, this person here is wanting to get healthy. What's the catalyst, right? What is driving them to want to change their life? And it's just because they're in their 40s or mid 40s, it's not too late. Not too late to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we showed that really well because you are naturally, I feel, athletic. It wasn't like a shock to the system to see you in there and doing the movements and the activities. Yep. So I feel like it when, like you said, when we talked about this ad and we said, how could we do this? Because, a lot of people, when they do spec ads, there's a lot of gravitation towards Nike, right? And Nike is an interesting brand, but we wanted to choose Puma because we are fans of Puma and we wanted to stand out too. And whenever we were coming up with the ideas for this, you were the perfect candidate because, like I said, you're inherently athletic. And I feel like it's such a good story. And a lot of the Puma ads that we watched, they're very athletic focused, but they're always athletes in their absolute prime. And so there's still, I feel like, a large audience of people that wear Puma and enjoy the brand that are in different stages of a fitness journey.
Right.
And that's important because, in saying this, I want to kind of preface it with this. We tried to approach this Spec ad in a way that challenged us because we wanted to simulate what it would be like for an agency to reach out to us and say, hey, we have a client and this is the prompt. And that's kind of what we did. We said, what if Puma reached out and said, hey, we want to tap into this particular audience in this particular point in their life at this particular level of health and fitness, and we would have had to create an ad about that. And so a lot of the choices we made stylistically with the color grade, with the camera movements, with the scenes, there's a lot of moments in this ad that are moments of reflection. And we felt that was important because at a certain point in your life, you're in your adult life, you're weighing out all these things that are happening to you. There's family, there's work, and then there's yourself. And how do you find time to fit time in for yourself? And sometimes, that may be going to the gym. It may be running. Sometimes it may just be breathing, taking a break and relax and, just being at peace. And I think kind of the idea of the film was, fitness can take you to a place where you can find that peace, find that meditation. And that's why we have shots and scenes with you just kind of taking it in, but they're all locations you got to by being physical. And so that was kind of the whole prompt is, your journey doesn't have to be, you're not necessarily trying to win a marathon. You're not necessarily trying to go play, soccer against the world's greatest team. Sometimes you just need to get active and get moving. And so it's like, that was kind of how we,
it's like the catalyst, like sorry to cut you off there. But it's like,
no, you're good.
And I think in life, you have families, you have kids and stuff, and sometimes the health starts to subside a little bit. But sometimes everybody in their life, and it can be at any stage, there has to be a moment where you're reflecting. You're like, I got to make a change. It starts with, and this is, I do have a kind of a physical fitness background as well, where, you have to make a change. Where's that point of making a change? And that's where we to piggyback off of what you said about the reflection, we're like there has to be a moment in time where you're like, okay, well, I can sit here and think about it all day long, but I got to make the change. Right. So, And then, exactly. And then what we thought from this particular Spec ad is we want to make a series out of this. And we thought this would be the first, it's kind of like art imitating life in a sense. Like you just got to make a start. Everything that it can be simple. It doesn't have to be complex. And to start the journey, it takes, you got to get up in the morning and you got to make it a priority. So that, and that's what that's where we came from with some of our shot selections and our look and our color schemes and kind of a little bit of handheld with a little bit of gimbal. But that was the basis of it. It's just like raw, starting back, and then the journey.
Yes. Yeah. And I think we were able to tell that really well. And, I feel like our shots have a lot of symbolism with that mission. Mm-hmm. For example, the very first shot in the ad, it's, the first thing you say is motivation, and it's, your eyes are opening. Yep. And, there's always that saying, don't be motivated, be disciplined. But, that's easier said than done. Sometimes in life, to get discipline, something has to motivate you to want that discipline. And I think this is kind of a really cool shot, this art imitating life sort of vibe that you're talking about here. This is almost like our eyes are open to something that's motivating us to make a change. Yep. And then what do we see after that? Motivation, and then it's imagine a world where you could be better. That's essentially what you're saying. And I think the lines are really powerful there because it starts off with a spark, and that's, our eyes are open to this. And then it goes into you kind of, the motivation is I need to get to the gym. We see that shot of you just working out really hard, doing the battle ropes, and then it's back to a calm shot. You're driving, and then a shot of you on the pier, and then we see in your mind all the things you want to accomplish, the flashback, of soccer, the running and everything, being in the gym. And then it's that build up and it's that anticipation of like, what's the next step? And then that's when the music breaks down and we see it's like, now we have the discipline, right? So I think in the beginning of the ad, it's that inception of motivation taking you to the next step. It's motivation. Boom. I've got to get healthy, and you're seeing yourself go through this mental build up to the act of getting healthier and getting into your fitness. And then when the beat drops and we see you're getting your shoes on, you're making your shake in the morning. So these are healthy habits as far as waking up, eating right, and then just starting your day with cardio, running, back at the gym, and then, incorporating fitness into all aspects of your life. There's a shot of you on the beach, like how many times do we go out to the beach with our family or on a family outing? You can get healthy there. So we just wanted to be relevant,
right?
And so all these moments where you're getting back in touch with the athlete, that you can be. And then it ends with, what's your motivation? Yep. And it's like, what's going to be that spark for you? So that was kind of our goal. And obviously we're breaking down kind of the philosophy of how we wanted to do this, not to take away from the fact that we're two guys doing all this in 2 days. I think
we just wanted the challenge. Crunch. We just wanted a challenge.
Yeah, we wanted the challenge.
Because so many times where, and it's a good thing to have where you have bigger budgets where you can, bring in people, actors, and this is the first time that I've jumped back in the actor chair in about 5 years. I hope I did okay. But it felt good.
Oh, you did great, man.
It felt good.
You did great.
I do like, it's kind of fun. And it's almost like when you direct yourself, it's like, that's why I asked you, what do you think on almost all the takes? Because it's kind of hard because I'm very critical on myself. And I'm sure how you with lighting and camera movements. But
absolutely. And it's so funny because there are several scenes in this ad where, I struggle a little bit with some of the end results, because I know that if I had more time and more equipment and more help, we could have pulled it off and made it look even better. So
you did great.
When I'm watching this ad, I appreciate that. And the people that have seen it so far, that with like the test audiences, friends and family and other colleagues like that we've showed it to, they all give us good response too, but they know us. So
we're curious on what YouTube thinks.
Yeah, that's the real test, right? Is like to get some critical feedback from the filmmaking community, or even just random people who don't care, who want to just be mean. I love that because it would make us, it's good to have constructive, critical feedback because it makes you better. Yeah. But this is, it was a great project in the sense that it really was a good stretch of the muscle, that filmmaking muscle of, can you do something high end really quick? Yeah. With no resources? And the answer is, I think we pulled it off pretty damn well, but you never know.
We hope
these next ones, we might step it up a little bit and bring in some more resources because, that always helps.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about real quick is, obviously we talked a little bit about the grade, but I think it'd be interesting to hear other people's thoughts on like cameras, and because Jacob and I I lean towards Sony, and Jacob likes Blackmagic. So I like to hear what your thoughts are, Jacob, because we did shoot a lot of low light scenes. And as you know, Blackmagic can struggle a little bit in the low lights and noises, but
it can. I will say this. If you want to be a filmmaker at a level where you want very refined images in every single frame to be very intentional and very focused, you need to have lighting. You need to plan your shots. You need to take your time and do it right. Any camera on the market right now, whether it be Sony, Panasonic, Blackmagic, Arri, Red, they're all highly capable tools. If you can't grab any of those cameras and make it work, then you probably need to grind a little bit harder on your camera work chops, right? And that's not an insult to anybody, but if you're struggling to get a decent image out of any of these cameras, that's probably a user error. And that may be a little tough love, but it is what it is. My love for Blackmagic comes from the fact that I spent, a couple years ago, I spent, I don't know what, less than $3,000 on a camera body. I think it was $29.99 for the 6K. And that camera alone, combined with my 4K pocket camera, earned me like $300,000 in gross revenue in film work in 1 year. And so, and that was a peak year and that was great. But my point is is if you can have a tool that can generate that kind of revenue, then you must be doing something right enough to where the camera is getting you good enough results to get paid. I feel like I could have done those same results with an Arri, albeit less margin. I could have got the same results with a Sony. I could have got the same results with, Panasonic. But the Blackmagic, the price point and the barrier to entry for the image quality and the price at the time, it made the most sense. But this is a camera that has its shortcomings. The camera likes light. It loves light. And you see in a lot of videos right now on YouTube where somebody's like, this is the new Arri Alexa. This camera is the new Arri Alexa. Do we have an Arri Alexa rival, or, has it been dethroned? And it's all this, it's buzzwords, just like Netflix approved. It's all buzzwords. It's all, at this point, I feel like everybody's kind of splitting hairs. And yes, I'm a very technical person, and I agree. There are some technical things about each different camera that makes it a better choice. But I feel like this debate about camera choice and preference is probably not as intense as it used to be. I think whenever, we were in the 5D revolution and the early DSLR revolution, and when cameras were first coming on the scene, like the Panasonic AF100, micro four thirds, but in a body that actually was usable, the Sony F3, all of these early cameras, there was a lot more separation in quality, but I think now all these manufacturers are getting so close that it's really hard. You have to be really nitpicky and pixel peep a lot to really notice a big difference. And I don't think that the camera choice ultimately matters as much as your skill set, right?
You got to be able to tell a story.
Things. I mean,
right? It just,
you got to be able to tell a story. And
it's got to look just good. To talk a little bit about that, because when we go into pre-production, some of the playbook is, okay, we got some low light scenes. How do we got to? It's a dual ISO camera on the 6K, but you have to have something. And I think the whole point of us trying to do a project like this is you don't have to have the Arri, right? You don't have to have the big Venices and all the big boys. But it's nice to have, but it's almost like if every camera has a little bit of a shortcoming, right? And some has pros and flaws. And it's just like in life, you just got to kind of, we all can't have God's greatest gift of knowing and everything, right? So we all have our shortcomings as well. So it's just like, if you go into a situation, how you're going to manage the shortcomings of a smaller, lower budget camera. And for us, it's like, how do we overcome that? And I think for a couple of the scenes, and we both agree, Jacob, we're kind of from that next generation too. And if I hear these young kids, for you young kids out there that always say, we'll fix it in post, it drives me insane. I'm like, let's get it right in camera as best we can. But anyways, I think you probably have a few behind the scenes with our Insta360 that you could probably show a few things. But I think our main objective was, I love shooting in golden hour. I love shooting in, morning blue hour. And then there's some times where, for the natural light is great that you have to recreate it. So with Blackmagic, and obviously there's no lens stabilization or body internal stabilization. So you have to jump on the dolly track or use the gimbal for some shots. But everything, I think, I love to hear what everybody has to say about this commercial. But we tried our best. We did 2 days of shooting. We did a couple days of prep. But the idea is just to go out and shoot something. You can talk and dream about it all day long, but just go out and be a filmmaker, scratch that itch. Yeah. So that was what our intention was.
And you know what? If you're a filmmaker and you're trying to get started in all this and you don't even have a camera, everybody's got an iPhone. I mean, or maybe like an Android, but, nobody's perfect. But that's the thing. If you're a filmmaker and you're new to this and you have, even if you just have a phone, get out and film something. Yep. This is, there's no excuse for you to not capture something great. And you could do it with an iPhone. You could do it with a Blackmagic. You could do it with an Arri. Just go out and create something and do something that you're passionate about, because especially for the filmmakers who are doing a lot of client work, sometimes client work can be very rewarding, especially, because it's paid and you get to kind of expand your horizons and be in different situations. But I think as a filmmaker, inherently, just at your core, there's always a genre of filmmaking or a type of filmmaking that you do that really gets you excited. And, for me, this is a great example of that, and we have a lot of different types of clients. This type of ad is very fun to shoot. And when we get opportunities to shoot ads like this, that really excites me, particularly because that's my favorite type of thing to shoot. And so I love doing the commercials. I like the documentary stuff too, kind of blending those worlds together. But, go out and shoot what makes you excited, because I think that'll help you keep your head in the game and keep you excited about film and keep you making the best possible things you can make. If you kind of get, in a rut with filmmaking, I think it starts to show in your work over time. And if you don't keep your edge sharp, you can fall behind, and it's easy to fall behind in this industry. There's so much technology coming out. There's so many new techniques being discussed. You blink and you'll miss it. So if you could continuously push yourself and challenge yourself, you'll be a better filmmaker for it.
Yeah, well said. And I think you're going to list in the description of like our camera, what we use, the lenses, and all the lights and the quick setups for all you young up and coming filmmakers. So
we hope you enjoyed the ad and listening to us explain how we did this. If you want some more behind the scenes, be sure to leave a comment and let us know. We've got a whole bunch of content filmed on Insta360s. So because it was just two of us, the behind the scenes aren't as cool and in depth as it could be, but it's still going to show you some insight to how we did everything. We used Dana dollies, we used aperture lighting, the Pocket 6K, as well as DZO Pictor. There's a lot of technical stuff that I could share with you in that. We could even dive into the timeline. Just leave a comment if you're interested in that and let us know, and we'd be happy to go over it. We appreciate you checking out the podcast today. And if you want to see more of these, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification, and you'll be notified, obviously, when we release more of these. If you're on the go, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and iHeartRadio podcast is on all four of those as well. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.